Hi there and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you some air fryer recipes. This is 10 tasty meals, or a few desserts actually, that are all going to be made using the air fryer. So to make this easy, if you open up the show notes below, it's going to pop up and generate all of the different videos I'm going to show you, and there'll be a link where you can click the link and it will take you straight to the recipe that you are interested in. I hope you enjoy these air fryer recipes. Hi there and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make this air fryer cake. You can make this in the air fryer or in the Ninja Foodi using the air crisp function. You can also do this gluten-free or regular, because what you're going to need is a box cake mix. So you can pick any one that you want, and then you'll need the ingredients that go with that cake mix, like the oil, eggs, water, whatever it calls for on the back. You can also get some coconut oil spray that you can spray the bottom of the pan with, and then we'll use a 7-inch springform pan to bake the cake in. So these are going to be the ingredients that you need, and then we are going to start off by getting that cake mix all mixed together. So you're going to prepare the cake mix just per the box instructions. So add in whatever you need. I am using a gluten-free funfetti cake mix for this one from Pillsbury. So you can see that mixing up here. And then whenever it's done mixing, we're going to pour this into a springform pan. So that's what I'm doing here. I've coated it with some coconut oil spray, and then I'm just going to pour this into the pan. Now, you can fit the whole box cake mix into this pan. It is going to be a thicker cake, so it's not going to be thin and layered like a traditional cake. It's going to be just one thick layered cake that all fits into this pan, which is going to be really easy to release it whenever it's all cooked. So once that's done, you're going to go ahead and place that pan inside the air fryer you're using. Set the air fryer to 320 degrees Fahrenheit for 35 minutes. Now, if your air fryer is preheated, then you're going to want to check on it around 25 to 30 minutes. I've tried this recipe at 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, you name it, I've tried it. For us, 35 minutes, 320 degrees Fahrenheit worked perfectly, but you are going to want to kind of test it out because all of the air fryers are going to heat differently. So as you can see, I have that in my air fryer, and then it's cooked. So now it's all done after 35 minutes. And after that timer goes off, you're going to want to let it cool with the lid open for about 5 minutes. And then carefully remove it. Now, removing it from the air fryer can be the trickiest part. You need to use oven mitts or an air fryer sling, because it is going to be very hot whenever it comes out of that air fryer, just like it would be in an oven. Once you get it out, you can place the whole cake and the pan just right on a wire rack to cool completely. I usually let it sit there for a few more minutes, maybe about 5 minutes. And then once it's cool enough for me to touch, I just undo the springform pan and pull it out. Now, as you can see on the bottom of that video, it's got the pan underneath it too. That easily comes up, so you can just release it from the bottom and place it right on your cake dish or on the wire rack to fully cool before you go ahead and frost it and decorate it. So we have it fully cooled, and I went ahead and put it on our cake pan, and then, our cake plate. And then we did some vanilla frosting, just super easy vanilla frosting. You can do a crumb coat if you want, and a regular coat and make it look real pretty. We just did a crumb coat, and then we covered it with sprinkles. It was super easy to make. It was fun for the kids and just a little dessert to have after a long weekend. And this is just a simple way to make a cake without having to preheat, without having to use your oven, all right in your air fryer. So it's all done in just about 35 minutes, and you will be ready to eat. You can actually find this recipe on airfryerfanatics.com, and then I'm going to have it up on mommyhatescooking.com soon too. But it's very easy to follow, very easy to make, and delicious to eat. So be sure to like and subscribe to this video so that you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for joining in today, and I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this air fryer cake in your Ninja Foodi or your air fryer. Hi there and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make Ninja Foodi Hawaiian chicken. You can also make this as air fryer Hawaiian chicken, and it's easy to make gluten-free too. So it's totally up to you which way you want to make it, But let's get started on this delicious recipe. So now you're gonna need ingredients: 6 boneless, skinless chicken thighs, cornstarch, 1/4 cup, and then 2 tablespoons for the sauce, 1/2 cup of pineapple chunks. Be sure to keep the juice, we'll need that too, and 1/4 cup diced onion. You'll also want a green, an orange, or red bell pepper. You can use any color that you choose, just use at least 1 or 2. Then you're gonna need 1/4 cup of pineapple juice, 1/4 cup of gluten-free or regular soy sauce. You can actually use coconut amnios as well, 1/4 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. So that's all you're gonna need to make this. So we are going to start off with the chicken. So if you wanna go ahead and get the chicken out, we're gonna start cutting that up. You're gonna cut it into chunks and then just place it in a bowl. And we're going to coat it here in a minute with cornstarch. So right now I've got it in the bowl, and now I've added 1/4 cup of the cornstarch, and I'm just gonna stir that up to coat. So you wanna make sure it's fully coated. This is kind of what gives it a more breaded feel to it without using flour. You can use potato starch here as well. So now that that is coated, you're gonna go ahead and spray the basket of the air fryer or the basket of the Ninja Foodi with olive oil cooking spray and add in that chicken. You're gonna cook it at 390 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes. Now remember, the internal temperature needs to reach at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. This normally takes me about 20 minutes and I can get some nice crispy chicken, but you definitely wanna check it with a meat thermometer as well to be sure it's fully cooked. So as you can see here, I'm just coating it with the olive oil cooking spray, and then I'm gonna let that cook. Once it's done, you can remove the chicken. Now, if you're using a Ninja Foodi, you can put the mitts on your hands and pull that pot right out, the basket right out of the pot, because we're gonna use the pot to make the sauce. Now, if you are doing an air fryer, you'll wanna do this sauce in a saucepan on the stove. So with the basket removed from the Ninja Foodi, change the function to saute and turn it on to high heat. Now you're going to add in the pineapple chunks, the onion, bell pepper, pineapple juice, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, which I hope I'm pronouncing right, brown sugar, and ginger. So once you get all those in, you're just going to mix them together. It's best to use a wooden spoon. That way you do not scratch the pot of the Ninja Foodi. So here I have the pineapple, and I'm adding in the pepper and the onion. And then I'm going to add in some pineapple juice as well. So all of that's going to go in here, and then I'll keep adding the remaining ingredients. Once you get done with these ingredients, you're going to let it simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes just so those veggies get soft. So as you can see, I'm going to let it simmer, and then I'm going to add in with a whisk. Usually the silicone-ended whisk works best. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and that's going to thicken the sauce, so it's going to make it thick, which you can see here. So I've got the cornstarch in there and I'm just whisking it up. It's nice and hot. You can turn it down to medium-high heat if you want at this point. And then you're just gonna mix that chicken right back in. So it's gonna warm the chicken back up if it's been sitting. And you're gonna stir in the sauce right into the chicken there. So I'm trying to get it all out of the pot. But once you get it in there, it's going to turn out just like this. So it's nice and coated, and it gives a Hawaiian chicken flavor. And then we like to serve this with cooked rice. So you can see the finished product there. It's really delicious. It's kind of like a mix of Hawaiian chicken and sweet and sour chicken. It's kind of got all those flavors in there. We like to serve this with cooked white rice. You can serve it with cauliflower rice if you want to keep it more low carb. That works just as well. And what's cool about this recipe is once you learn how to do the chicken, which is just the cornstarch and chicken in the in the basket of the Ninja Foodi or air fryer basket, you can actually use any sauce that you prefer. So even if you do store-bought sauce, you just mix it right on the chicken. So you can find this recipe and more all at mommyhatescooking.com. I hope you enjoyed this delicious recipe, and be sure to stay tuned for the next one. Thank you again. Hi there, and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make an air fryer whole chicken. It can be made in an air fryer or in your Ninja Foodi using the air crisp function. So we are going to get started with this delicious recipe. First, you are going to need a few things. So you will need a 4 to 5 pound whole chicken fryer. You want to be sure the giblet and everything in there is removed in the center. And then you'll need olive oil spray and a tablespoon of seasoning of your choice. This could be barbecue seasoning or lemon pepper, whatever you prefer. And then sliced lemon or rosemary is optional just to garnish the chicken whenever we're done. But that's totally up to you. So the first thing we need to do is coat the chicken with olive oil cooking spray. And then you're going to add the seasonings and let it rest for about 10 minutes. So I'm doing this breast side down because that's what's going to go in on the chicken, that's what's going to go in the air fryer first. So I'm going to do the other side whenever I turn it. So now I've got it breast side down in the air fryer. Then I'm going to cook it at 360 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. And that can just cook there, and when you open it up and get it out, that is the tricky part. So you're going to have to be very careful with flipping this over. So you need to flip it over, and then you're going to add it back into the air fryer. So I find this is easy to do on a cutting board. I just use the mitts and pull the air fryer basket out and flip it over and then put it right back in, just the opposite way. So once it's in, you're going to flip it over, and then you're going to spray the olive oil cooking spray and add your seasoning if you prefer, and then cook an additional 30 to 40 minutes at 360 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're doing the same thing just to the opposite side of the chicken now from the first time. So now once you get it out, it's going to be really crispy. And this is whenever I was flipping it earlier. So you can see that part of it is crispy and the other part isn't. So now I've got it out and done. And I'm going to check the temperature. So I'm making sure it's at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. I prefer it to be closer to 180. That's my personal preference. 170 to 175 is probably where you want to get so it's not dried out. So it's totally up to you on your personal preference there, but at least 165 to ensure that it is fully cooked. So once that's done, I'm just cutting into it. So you can see it's nice and juicy and white inside, and then it's got this crispy outer layer, which we happen to love that skin. This is a great one if you have leftovers you can use in the Ninja Foodi chicken taco soup recipe, which I'll link down below too. But as you can see there, it comes out perfectly, and it's so easy. It's basically like making your own rotisserie chicken right at home. And then you control the seasoning. So you can put whatever you want on it, and you don't have to worry about anything added into it either. So we have got this all done and ready to serve. We usually serve it with mashed potatoes and corn. I like to use the Ninja Foodi mashed potatoes recipe. I'll link to that too. So all of those recipes can be found on mommyhatescooking.com. And be sure to like and subscribe to this video so that you don't miss the next one. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this air fryer whole chicken or Ninja Foodi whole chicken. It's very easy to make, and you'll be a pro in no time. So be sure to stay tuned to the next video. Thanks so much for joining in. Hi there, and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make these easy air fryer country style pork ribs in the air fryer or Ninja Foodi. They're very easy to make, and they're ready to serve in just about 25 minutes. So we are going to get started with this easy recipe. Now first you will want to get boneless country style pork ribs. We used about 2 pounds of these. Seasoning of your choice. This can be steak seasoning. I like to use Head Country barbecue seasoning, and then the barbecue sauce of your choice as well. Again, I really like the apple habanero from Head Country. That's what we used for these ribs, but you can use whatever seasoning and sauce you prefer. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and preheat the air fryer to 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 5 minutes. So you're just going to preheat that, and then while that's preheating, you can go ahead and work on getting the ribs ready. The first thing you're going to do is use the seasoning and just season those ribs. So you can let that sit on there for a few minutes too. So there's the Head Country seasoning. That's the one that I used. And I just sprinkle these on there. So you can do this while it's preheating, or you can do this earlier and let that seasoning soak in for an hour or two before you decide to cook them. And I did use smaller ribs here. Normally I use long pork ribs, but these are a bit smaller. And then also coat them with barbecue sauce. And you only really need to coat it on one side. Whenever you flip them in the air fryer, you can coat the other side. So I'm just finishing coating these, and then I'm going to carefully place them inside the preheated air fryer. And I went ahead and sprayed mine with some cooking spray. I like olive oil cooking spray. There's kind of controversy on if you should use that one or not because of the smoke point. It's up to your personal preference. If you want a higher smoke point, grapeseed is a good oil to use for this as well. So you can go ahead and put those in the air fryer. And then you're just going to cook them for 20 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you want to go ahead and turn them after 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, turn the ribs, and then at that point you can add more barbecue sauce if you'd like as well. What we're going for here is an internal temperature of at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit, but I actually like to get these up to about 160 before we serve them. I feel like it gets them more tender, so that's what I'm going for here. So right now I've got them all cooked. They do shrink a little bit, and since I use shorter ribs, that's why they look shorter. But normally I do use longer ones, but these worked out perfect for our kids too. So the internal temperature for these has reached 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to go ahead and remove them. And we actually served these with air fryer baked potatoes, which you can make in the air fryer too. All you do with those is put them in at 390 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. So I usually use another air fryer and cook those while these are cooking. So I will show a video soon of how to do those, but they're really easy. You can do them basically without a video. They're easy to do. So that's the inside of these country style pork ribs. They were tender, juicy, delicious, and full of flavor. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make these air fryer country style ribs in just 25 minutes. If you like this recipe, be sure to like and subscribe so that you do not miss the next one. And you can also find this recipe and more over on my websites, airfryerfanatics.com or mommyhatescooking.com. Thanks so much for joining in today. Hi there, and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to make air fryer cinnamon rolls in 8 minutes. These can be made in your air fryer or your Ninja Foodi. The first thing you'll need to do is coat the air fryer basket or air crisp basket of the Ninja Foodi with cooking spray. I usually use coconut oil cooking spray for these cinnamon rolls, but you can also do olive oil cooking spray too. The next thing you'll do is go ahead and open up that can of cinnamon rolls. For this recipe, I just use a can of Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. We found those are the best ones to use. They stay together really well. Some of the other off-brands don't really stay together quite as well. So we place those in the air fryer basket, however they'll fit in your basket. The next thing you need to do is go ahead and cook these. You'll cook them at 360 degrees for 8 minutes in the air fryer. Or if you're using a Ninja Foodi, it would be the air crisp function. Now remember, with the air fryer, they all heat a little bit differently. So I would normally check on these around 6 to 7 minutes to see if they're done for your air fryer. Mine always takes 8 minutes. Sometimes you may need to add a minute or two or take away a minute or two depending on how your air fryer heats up. In 8 minutes, they're done. They're going to be golden brown on top and nice and soft inside. Once they're done, you can carefully remove them and get ready to ice them. And that's it. You've got them all done and they're ready to serve in just about 8 minutes. This is one of the easiest ways to make cinnamon rolls. You can find this recipe on airfryerfanatics.com and mommyhatescooking.com. Both are full of delicious recipes. Thank you so much for joining in today to learn how to make these air fryer cinnamon rolls. Be sure to tune in next time for another delicious recipe. Hi there, and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make these easy air fryer onion rings. You can also make them gluten-free too. So let's get started. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 large white onion or a sweet onion, 1 cup of buttermilk, 2 cups of gluten-free or regular flour, depending on how you're making it, 2 eggs, 2 cups of gluten-free or regular breadcrumbs, and salt to taste. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, I have a trick for that too, so just stay with me. First, you want to cut the onion into about a 1/4 inch thick slices. And you're going to place this in a shallow bowl or dish with the buttermilk to soak for about an hour. This just takes some of that potent flavor down a notch or two. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, use regular milk and then add just about half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of white vinegar to it. And that will do the trick. While those are soaking, go ahead and get a bowl ready for the flour, eggs, and breadcrumbs. Each one needs a separate bowl, and be sure to beat the eggs together so they're nice and well combined. So first you're going to dip each slice of onion into the flour, and you want to get this well coated and then shake off the excess. So now you've dipped it into the flour. You're wanting to shake it off before you move it to the eggs, which is going to be next. When you dip these in the egg, it's very important that egg covers all parts of that onion. Wherever there is an egg, no breadcrumbs are going to stick to it. So it's vital that you get the egg coating the whole onion. That's what ensures that the breadcrumbs are going to stick. Whenever you get it coated, shake off any of the excess. Now you're going to dip that onion that was covered in egg in the breadcrumbs, and you want to get them well coated with breadcrumbs. So really dip it in there and coat that onion well. Once you get them coated, you're going to spray the air fryer basket with olive oil cooking spray. Then place an even layer of onions in the basket. Once they're in the basket, spray them again with olive oil cooking spray because you do need some oil on these onions to get them to work right. Once you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and shut the lid and air fry at 390 degrees for 5 minutes on each side. As I said, you'll go ahead and air fry them at 390 degrees for 5 minutes on each side. When you flip them over, carefully flip them over, add more olive oil spray. To any part that kind of looks dry, you want to add the oil to it. And then you'll do the additional 5 minutes, so that's 10 minutes total. Open the lid and you'll have some golden onion rings. Now, if you want them to be even more golden and brown, just add a little more olive oil cooking spray and it will get them nice and softened and look real golden brown. Then we like to add salt before serving these. So you can salt them right after you spray them with that additional olive oil spray and salt them up and eat up. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make these air fryer onion rings, which can be made gluten-free if you need them to be. You can find this recipe and more on mommyhatescooking.com, or you can find all my air fryer recipes on airfryerfanatics.com. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope you join me next time. Hi there, and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make air fryer turkey breast or Ninja Foodi turkey breast. So we're going to use the Ninja Foodi multi-cooker, but you can do this in an air fryer as well. So easy, because all you need is a turkey breast. Now I use a 3-pound boneless turkey breast for this. You can get it at your local grocery store. So this one is great if you like to have kind of that holiday meal all throughout the year. Or maybe you're like us and you really only need to feed 4 people or 2 people. this is the way to go because you don't have to cook a whole turkey in the oven. You can just cook this within an hour right in the air fryer. So the first thing is you're going to use a boneless, skinless turkey breast. And then you can use seasoning on this, so you can add rosemary, which is what I normally do. Now, the one that I got from the store this time, it actually already was seasoned, and so I'm not going to add any more seasoning to it. But that is a great idea, too. If you want to buy one already seasoned from the store, you can do that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is coat our air fryer with olive oil cooking spray. Or you can use a little spray bottle of your own olive oil. I actually found a good deal on those at the store recently, so I have those as well. And now we are going to go ahead and put this whole turkey breast right in the air fryer. So you're just going to put it in there so that it fits well. Okay, so now this is in the air fryer. So all you have to do is place this right in the air fryer, right in the middle there. Y'all don't want to know what my husband told me to say, but I'm trying really hard not to laugh while I'm showing you this. Anyways, so it's in the air fryer. All you have to do is put it in there, and we're going to come back and check on it after we cook it for a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this lid, and then we are going to go ahead and air fry this on 350 degrees. So the thing to remember with this recipe is you are going to cook this low and slow. So low and slow for this recipe. Just like you would in the oven with a turkey breast, it takes a while, or with a whole turkey. So with this, it's kind of the same way. You want it to slowly cook, and so we're going to do 350 degrees for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, I'm going to come back and we're going to flip it over so it cooks evenly on both sides, and we'll do an additional 30 minutes. The key is you want it to be 165 degrees internal temperature before serving it. So we're going to go ahead and get this one started. So now, as you can see here, I've cooked it for 20 minutes. So I'm just going to carefully turn it over. That way it kind of evenly cooks on both sides. So it does take a minute just to get it turned. You just kind of have to work with it and roll it over. So it's kind of getting crispy on the outside. Now this one's crisping up a little bit different because it was already coated and seasoned. It was one that was seasoned and coated. So as you can see, though, the bottom isn't very well cooked. So that's kind of what we're going for now. So I'm going to spray it again with just a really good coat of olive oil spray, just all around it. So now I've got it in here, and I'm going to go ahead and cook it for 30 minutes this time at 350 degrees. And I'm using the air crisp function of the Ninja Foodi. So you need to go ahead and cook it for 30 more minutes. And then we will get it out, and we'll make sure the temperature is at least 165 degrees, and then we will serve it. Okay, so now as you can see, I've had this cooking for 50 minutes, and it's browned up on both sides. Most of the part that you see is darker is actually the netting, so we're about to take that off. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the air fryer over to the plate here. Get it right. So now I'm just going to cut this netting off here. Now you got to be careful because it is hot, but it's super crispy, which is exactly how we want it. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got it cooked. It's reached 165 degrees inside. It's nice and toasted and crispy on the outside, juicy in the middle, and it's perfectly ready to serve with gravy on top, your favorite gravy, or with a sandwich or salad, anything that you'd like to serve it with. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn how to make air fryer turkey breast or Ninja Foodi turkey breast. This is so easy to make. It takes just under an hour, and it comes out perfectly tender and juicy, great for a holiday dinner where it's just 2 to 4 people, or even just during the week for dinner. So it's a perfect recipe. If you like this, you'll be sure to like several other Ninja Foodi and air fryer recipes that are on my website, mommyhatescooking.com. Be sure to subscribe and like this video so that you don't miss the next video. I'll be back showing you even more delicious recipes. Thanks again for joining me. Hi, it's Christy with Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm back to show you how to make this quick and easy snack, air fryer seasoned pretzels. They can be made in any air fryer or in your Ninja Foodi. So today I'm going to make them in my Ninja Foodi using the air crisp function on the Ninja Foodi. But you can make them in your air fryer too. You'll just use the basket of the air fryer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line the air fryer. You can use foil actually in it as long as you roll up the sides. So you want to make sure that the air is still able to circulate around the side of the basket where the holes are. So what I recently discovered though are these little parchment sheets, and they're perfectly round with the holes already in them, and they just fit right in the air fryer. So I'm going to go ahead and put one in here, and you can see this here, it fits perfectly. And you can just kind of turn it so that, for me, I kind of get it where it's on the holes that are already in there. So now I've already got that in, and now I'm just going to add some pretzels. You're going to add about 8 ounces of pretzels. If you're doing gluten-free, these are the gluten-free ones I use. They're already 8 ounces, so it works out perfectly. So we're going to put the whole bag right in here into the air fryer. So we have all of our pretzels in there. And you can also make these in the oven. We usually do them in the oven until I realized I could make like a quick batch in the air fryer. So now I've been doing this frequently. It's just a lot easier. So the next thing that you're going to add is the ranch seasoning. So you just use a packet of ranch, and we're going to open that up and just pour it right on top of here evenly. So I'm just going to evenly pour this. You're going to use the whole packet right on top of those pretzels. And then I also like to just add a little bit of extra garlic powder to these. So usually add about 1/4 teaspoon. Just going to sprinkle those on here. Now lastly, we're just going to add a squirt of this olive oil spray. So the first thing we're going to do is just squirt these, and then I'm going to go ahead and mix them up so that I can be sure everything is getting coated in here. So we're going to just kind of mix it up. You want to make sure that that seasoning gets on the pretzels, and you also want them to be a little bit oily here. So we are going to put some oil in. Now you can I use olive oil spray without an issue in the air fryer Ninja Foodi. I've never had a problem with it. You can use coconut oil spray as well if you prefer. So we're just making sure that all of this seasoning gets on top of here and doesn't fall through the holes. So the one thing is, if you use aluminum foil in the air fryer for these, you aren't going to have a problem with any of the seasoning going through the hole to the bottom. So we have all of these coated. Alright, so now we have it all ready to go here. I've got it sprayed. We're going to go ahead and close the lid, and we have it set for 350 degrees for 3 minutes. Then we're going to come back and we're going to check on it, add some more oil and mix it up, and then cook for a couple more minutes. Alright, so now I have the 3 minutes done in the Foodi, which was the first 3 minutes. So as you can see here, they're looking good. They're nice and coated. So I'm going to spray them a little bit more and just stir them up to get them mixed up a little bit more. So we want to kind of bring the ones that you can tell need to be cooked up a little bit better to the top. And then we're going to spray them again. And once they're sprayed again, we're going to cook them at 350 again for 2 minutes this time, and then they should be ready to eat. I just did the 2 minutes in the air fryer, and these are looking great. They look pretty good, and I'm about to get them out of here, and we're gonna serve them up. So the biggest thing with seasoned pretzels is basically you're giving them a great flavor that they wouldn't otherwise have. So these are a favorite. They smell great too. You'll be ready to eat them as soon as you smell them whenever you open up the Ninja Foodi or the air fryer, either one. Thank you so much for joining me today to see how to make air fryer seasoned pretzels. Now these are ready to go in just 5 minutes, so it's very quick and easy to make. If you want the full recipe, just check out the recipe link below. Along with everything else I mentioned there will be down in those show notes. As always, feel free to subscribe if you'd like so that you don't miss any episodes. And you can follow me below on all my social channels as well. Thanks again, and visit mommyhatescooking.com for all the recipes. Hi, this is Christy Still with Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make Ninja Foodi bacon wrapped stuffed jalapeno poppers in just minutes. Hey, it's Christy Still with Mommy Hates Cooking, and I'm back today to show you all how to make Ninja Foodi stuffed jalapeno poppers, or you can call them Ninja Foodi stuffed jalapeno peppers. But I'm going to show you how to make this easy food that's great for game day or parties or just if you really want a snack. So the first thing you're going to need is jalapeno peppers. So I sliced these in half, and I am going to show you step by step how to do this in just a second, but I want to go over the ingredients first. So we have jalapeno peppers, cream cheese that I've mixed with garlic salt to give it a little bit more flavor, and then bacon and little smokies or little sausages. So that's what we're going to use to put all of these together, and then we're going to put them in the air fryer using, the air crisp using the Ninja Foodi. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the Ninja Foodi stuffed peppers or stuffed jalapeno poppers. So first things first, I've already cut the peppers. Now, I do suggest wearing gloves. These are just cheapy little gloves you can get at the store. They aren't perfectly fitted, but they work. So I suggest that because these peppers can make your hands burn if they're hot. And you never really know just how hot they are until you start cutting them, and then it's too late at that point. So I've learned that the hard way, so I do suggest gloves. So first thing, we've got these cleaned. You can clean out the seeds as much as you want. I mean, having a couple in there isn't that big a deal, but we'll clean those out. So once we've cleaned them out, we're just going to put a little bit of this cream cheese mixture. Now this is cream cheese and garlic salt. So I'm just going to kind of push that in here. Push it around. Now I'm going to add a little smoky right on top. So we've got the little smoky. We're going to push that in there. So it just kind of sinks in between the cream cheese. So now it's time to add the bacon. So we're going to wrap that around. We've got the bacon. Now I try to put the seam on the bottom, the starting point, and then wrap it. That way I don't have to seal it. So hopefully you can see this well. Then I don't have to seal it with the toothpicks. So we just keep wrapping this around. So now we have it completely coated. So this is large, thick cut bacon. But it's gonna shrink up in the Ninja Foodi. So now we're gonna put it right in our air fryer basket, our air crisp basket. And we're just gonna start lining those up here, starting with this center point, and line them up all the way around in the air crisp. So now I'm going to just keep doing these until I run out of room. Stuffed peppers fit about 10 in the Ninja Foodi, which worked out perfectly because that was exactly the amount of bacon that I had. So now we're going to air crisp these, which means we're going to use the lid that comes with the Foodi that is attached. So this is the attached lid. We're just going to shut the lid. I've already got it set to air crisp, 375 degrees for 10 minutes, and then we're going to check in on them and make sure they're nice and crispy. So another thing to keep in mind is that whenever you are air crisping anything really with the Ninja Foodi, you kind of want to check in on it about halfway through because, for instance, my bacon is thick cut bacon. If you use bacon that's thinner, it may be done in shorter time. So I usually check in on it about halfway through. So that means about 5 minutes in, I'll open up the lid, see how it's cooking, and then continue on cooking for the additional 5 minutes. That way I can adjust the time if I need to. So we're gonna get started and start this up. So as you can see, the extra 5 minutes was perfect. They are super crispy and just ready to go. They look delicious. So if you do thick cut bacon, I recommend 15 minutes, 375 degrees. If it's thinner, start at 10 minutes and then check it and add more time if you need to. So we're gonna carefully pull these out of here, and I'm gonna just line them up on this plate here. See, you kind of have to work your way through here because you don't want them to unroll completely. But these would be perfect for Super Bowl or game day, whatever kind of game day you're having. they would be great for that. So we are just pulling each one of these out of here, and then I will show you what they look like, and we will be on our way. So in total, I would say this takes you probably about 30 minutes to make them, because you do have to cut the peppers and get them all stuffed beforehand. But they look so good, and I can't wait to try one either. And now we have them all plated, and they're ready to serve. Now, don't those look absolutely delicious? So I just want to thank you guys again for joining in. And as always, I'm going to have the recipe, anything else I mentioned, all below in the show notes. I'll have a link to the Ninja Foodi and some other tips that maybe I missed when I was talking that I'll mention below in the show notes too. Be sure to subscribe. I'm going to keep adding more recipes each week. I'm going to try to anyway. Most of them are going to be Ninja Foodi related for right now, since that's kind of what people are looking for and what I'm using the most recently. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's recipe. Remember that you can always find all the recipes over on mommyhatescooking.com, along with many more that aren't just Ninja Foodi. I hope you subscribe so that you don't miss the next video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you how to make these easy chicken fajitas in the Ninja Foodi or air fryer. They're very easy to make and even better to eat, so let's get started. This is actually one of our favorites for dinner. They are so easy, super quick. I love making these during the week, and they are very good. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of go over the ingredients. Now, all of this information is going to be in the show notes below with the full recipe, so you can always check there to go back and look over things that I've said. It's all going to be there. So the first thing we're going to need are chicken thighs. Now, I highly recommend that you buy chicken thighs, not chicken breast. The chicken breast does dry out, at least that's what we found with using it in the air fryer. The chicken thighs really hold their texture, their taste, all of it. They just taste so good in the air fryer. So that's our preferred chicken to use. Now, you can always test out chicken breast, but you may want to adjust the time just a bit. So once you have chicken thighs, we're going to add different colors of bell peppers, onion, and then taco or fajita seasoning. So you can use your own seasoning, fajita or taco seasoning. I have some links to homemade versions in the post. And then also you can use just a store-bought taco seasoning. I use McCormick gluten-free taco seasoning quite a bit. So we typically will use that one unless I have a homemade one that I can whip up real quick. So once you have all that, we just build it into the air fryer. So we put it all in our air fryer basket. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now the first thing we're going to do is use our olive oil spray and coat the air fryer basket. So I have my Pompean spray today, which is my favorite. It works the best. It really has the same oil-like consistency as olive oil, so it goes on really well. Also, a spray bottle is a really good option too for olive oil, but you always want to have that on hand whenever you are working with the air fryer. It's a good oil to have handy. So first we're going to put in all these chicken thighs. I have sliced these up into long slices for fajitas, so I am just putting them right on into this air fryer basket. So now that we have those in, we are going to add our peppers. So you're just going to want to add, now it might look like you have a lot here, which I have a few seeds left. We're not going to worry about that. But they do shrink up in the air fryer as they cook, so don't worry about it if it looks like you have a lot. So I'm just going to add these in around here. Just kind of evenly on top. We're going to stir it up here in just a few minutes. So once you have that in, you're going to add in your onions. And I just have these in long slices too, so we're just adding those in. Isn't that pretty? Even just looking at it, it's pretty because it's so full of color. Now that we have all of that added, we're just going to take this, here's my taco seasoning, and we're going to just sprinkle it right evenly around. So I'm using about 2 tablespoons. You can use the whole packet if you want. I've said before I'm not a big fan of spicy, so I try not to use quite so much or it's a little too spicy for my taste. But once we have it all in here, we're going to coat it again with another squirt of olive oil. And then we are going to go ahead and close the lid. It's set here to 390 for 25 minutes on air crisp. So we're going to go ahead and start it. And then about halfway through, we're going to come in and stir it up so that we can make sure it's all cooking okay. Okay, so it has now been going for about half the time. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this up. So we are just going to really stir it up here, kind of break apart the chicken if it's sticking or anything like that. Make sure it's really well coated with the taco seasoning. So it looks like it's cooking pretty good. So we're going to keep it going for about 8 more minutes. So I guess I cooked it a little more than half here because I have about 8 minutes left. So we have it nice and stirred up. Now I usually will add a little splash of the olive oil spray again whenever I check on it. So I'm going to do. It's been 25 minutes and our fajitas are all done. Now don't those look good? So here's what they look like. You can kind of see those. I'm going to plate them up here. So I put them on this big platter here with our tortillas. Now here's my little thoughts on tortillas. So I use white corn tortillas, and I just use Mission white corn tortillas. I heat them up in the skillet while these are cooking. I use a little bit of the olive oil spray and heat them up on both sides to toast the white corn tortillas. They are the best way to eat tortillas, in my opinion. They taste so good with these fajitas. I think they're better than flour tortillas when they're heated up like that. Now, if they're just right out of the bag, I don't care for them that much. But when they're heated up, it just makes them taste so good. So anyways, and they're also gluten-free. So if you're going to eat these and you want to make them gluten-free, the gluten-free option actually tastes better than the flour option. So as you can see, I have them all plated here. I like to do my chicken fajita meat on one side and the tortillas on the other. So these are all warmed up. And then I'm just going to take some of this fajita meat and fill it right up into the tortilla. And then you have dinner. Now this is great served with rice, salsa, whatever you want to put with it. But that is how you make those chicken fajitas. Thanks so much for joining me today to learn how to make Ninja Foodi or air fryer chicken fajitas. As always, all of these show notes will include this recipe and anything else I mentioned today. And then you can always find all of these recipes on mommyhatescooking.com. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss the next video. Thanks so much.